we'll let Laurent in the second segment, tell us exactly what he does.
Second seg, great. All right.
And then we're actually going to start right now, and we're also recording this for YouTube, so you'll be able to check it out. And let's go to our beginning here. All right. And away we go. Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vern Glenn, of CBS affiliate KPIX-TV in San Francisco. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. Today's theme is baseball, since we're going to be hitting the World Series here pretty soon. And in the next segment, we're going to introduce our special guest, Laurent Massa from Group RMC, who's going to discuss the importance of real estate for athletes. Give us a little advice on that.
I got some questions
for that. You got a question for
that? Yeah.
And he's also going to be sharing with us some stories, and then also to be wary of vultures, because real estate is a very broad term. Mm-hmm. And there was also a note here, and I forgot to ask Laurent earlier when we were just kind of discussing things before the show. He had a comment here about the San Jose Sharks, their salary cap woes. So we'll ask him about that in the segment, all right? This segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, still providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding actually almost 8%.
What, 8?
8. They raised it from 7.5 to 8, secured by real estate. In fact, it's kind of funny. We just had a deal where the borrower went into default. It was an 11% yield, but there's what they call default interest. So there's an extra 5% tacked on. Oof. And about a month before it's ready to go to foreclosure sale, which was very well secured, it was actually like, hey, yeah, let's go to foreclosure. We're going to make a lot of money.
Right.
The borrower found a new lender to pay it off. And when you include the late fees and the default interest, the rate of return is about 17%.
Wow. Oof.
That's not bad.
Yeah, okay.
And the loan to value on this stuff was probably less than 60%. Can't get too much better than that. You got to check out Pacific Private Money, and that's their website, pacificprivatemoney.com. All right, so stay with us. When we come back, we're going to introduce Laurent Massa from Canada. He's from Canada.
Sorry. I want to on the word of sorry. I want to ask Laurent Massa.
Okay, ask him in the next segment.
At
the break.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. So Laurent, that's our first little segment intro, and then we're going to introduce you, and then we'll have you take it off from there. How's that?
Great. Sounds good.
All right. Now you said you were born in Montreal, but you're in Quebec now. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, Montreal is the biggest city in Quebec, so I was born and raised in Montreal.
Oh, gotcha. I'm thinking of Toronto. Sorry.
Between Montreal and New York, a lot to work. So
I've always wanted a Montreal's Canadian cap. I think it's one of the coolest logos. But yeah,
they do. They're the most historic and winningest franchise in NHL history. So if ever I make it down to the Bay Area, I'll bring one down for you.
Indeed. Damn. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I like that.
I just interviewed Erik Karlsson of the San Jose Sharks, because their season opener is around the corner. I mean, they're playing exhibition games now, so the kids are playing those games, but the vets are waiting for October 2nd when the puck drops.
The puck drops
against Vegas, for real. Yeah.
Well, they're tune-up games for the vets.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so if you are ready, let's go to our real segment here. All right, and away we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn. On the phone we have a long-distance visitor. Our guest is Laurent Massa from Group RMC. Welcome, Laurent, to Sports Econ 101.
I want to know what RMC is.
That's what
yeah. Take us inside.
Well, hey guys, thanks for having me.
Sure.
So RMC is just a play on the first and last names of the founding partners of the firm. First one is Raymond Massa, that's actually my father, and his partner Maher Sharfan. So they just condensed the M's instead of making RMMC and made it RMC. So probably a little bit more boring than you'd expected, but that's the nature of.
Well, in basketball here we had Run TMC.
That is true. And so what does the firm do exactly?
So originally we started out as just a couple of families getting together, buying office buildings here in Quebec, where I'm from, and we started buying up some office after the referendum, which for those of you who don't know, it was kind of like a little Brexit in Quebec, except it didn't go through. That's the difference. And then after the crash, around 2011, we started buying up office buildings in the Midwest. My first deal was in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and since then we've grown to own about 16 million square feet in the Midwest in the United States.
And is there any good real estate in Canada to purchase, or do you just saw a big opportunity in the United States?
Well, there's good real estate everywhere. The key is at what price.
Yeah.
So we go where the pricing goes. We're very value-based, and we noticed that there was tremendous value in the Midwest because those who had the capacity to buy these office buildings off big institutions weren't, necessarily looking in those markets. They want markets which are a little bit more transaction-heavy, like New York or Silicon Valley or these so-called hot markets. And there wasn't much love in the Midwest, and so we're more than happy to
actually, the best deal that I ever did was in the early to mid 90s in a place called Independence, Kansas.
Oh, wow!
Which is just outside of Independence, Missouri.
That Independence, Kansas, as I may show sports knowledge, is the location of one of the absolute powerhouse junior college football programs.
Is that right?
In fact, Independence Community College, junior college, was the subject of a hit Netflix show called Last Chance U. And Last Chance U is a documentary on players who are absolutely down to their last chance. They've gone to a D1 school, they flunked out, they're hard on their luck, and so they go to these junior colleges to try and improve their grades so they can become eligible enough to play at a Division I school. So Independence Junior College is a huge football power, and there was quite a season leading to the national championship.
How long ago?
It's available on Netflix now.
No. I mean,
Independence Junior College. This was a couple years ago.
Got it.
And next year, the series then shifts to the Bay Area, and they're going to be doing a show on Laney College based in Oakland, because Laney College is also a football power. But my ears perked up when you said Independence.
It's funny because everyone always thinks Independence, Missouri, but this is Independence, Kansas. So, Laurent, a question for you now. This is a sports show, sports and business. How did you get involved with dealing with athletes for real estate?
That's a good question. So, like I said, we started out as just a couple of families getting together and buying up real estate. Growing up in Canada, everyone kind of knows a hockey player or two who made it to the big leagues. So one of my really good friends played in the NHL for a few years. He's now over in the KHL in Russia, which, by the way, is a whole other podcast full of stories. And so he started investing with us from the beginning in 2011 and really liked it. Thought it was really appropriate for him at the time when he was playing in the NHL, and he referred us a few of his friends, which then referred a few of their friends. And we sort of organically grew a little business out of it, a little division, I would say, of RMC that deals with professional athletes. Now we deal with some agencies, some wealth advisors, and even branching out now into the NBA, the MLB, and a few other sports, tennis, stuff like that.
All right, so run us through it. I'm NFL player X, and I come to you with real estate on my mind, whether it's a 6-month rental of a place where I happen to be playing or whatever. I mean, what happens? I come to you and boom.
Well, I guess the message would be that good income producing real estate, it allows athletes to convert their capital, so aka their savings into income, so cash flow. The idea is, I guess, for athletes, instead of eating into their savings, athletes who enjoy the right kind of real estate, they get quarterly income while their savings grow instead of shrinking. So, they get to, instead of eating in their savings and slowly becoming poor, they live off real estate income as their capital grows and they get richer. So one thing that's important to remember for athletes is that their earning period is really the first, 10 years of their working life, if they're lucky and they don't get injured. Some obviously go on to work in management or media or the vast majority don't. So the key for them is to capitalize in their working years so that they can benefit from it, beyond their time playing in sports. Remember, for athletes, the message is it's not okay to spend income. It's okay to spend income, but it's not okay to spend savings.
So I gotta think that these people who are coming to you, they have to be a little bit more mature in mind, because otherwise, there are a lot of guys out there trying to sell all kinds of crazy investments for them to throw their money at.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, real estate's a notoriously shady business, full of, there's a bunch of promoters, operators, imposters. I like to call those guys vultures. Dealing with athletes, let me tell you, they get pitched some pretty particular things that aren't necessarily good for them. A lot of shady restaurant deals, or weed stocks is a big one now. So it's real estate's a lot like medicine, but in that pediatric heart surgeon has very little in common with the gynecologist. You have to both in medicine. Same kind of thing with real estate. Condo developer has almost nothing to do with us, the long-term office owner. Yet we're both thrown into the real estate bucket. So the key for them is to invest in the right kind of real estate.
And do you get some of the athletes? I'm assuming a lot of these athletes are younger. Do they kind of? That's what I'm saying about the maturity. They've really got to kind of grasp the fact of, what? Okay, this isn't so exciting per se as a weed stock or something like that, but it's going to help me produce income for the future. And so, is there a lot of education from that end of it?
Yeah, there is. When you talk about real estate, excuse me, when you talk about real estate, they tend to think of first thing to think of is a developer or a flipper or kind of a quick in and out money real estate kind of project, and those are everywhere. But the polar opposite of the right kind of real estate for athletes. Their thing with them is they're not trying to get rich quick. They are rich. So the key for them is, one, to stay rich, and two, it's to convert their savings into income so they can live off their capital and not their labor. And that's where we come in, because that's what we've been doing for hundreds of families and athletes that partner up with us.
Well, I'm with these athletes all the time. I have to believe when they get on the line with you and they take a meeting, I have to believe their agent, is on the line too, right?
Yeah, that can get touchy because you don't want to jump over the agent. Otherwise, he'll shut you down pretty quick. He'll feel like you're trying to go around them. So I'm more than happy to work with the agent. Oftentimes that opens up doors to his other clients, which I'm obviously more than happy to meet.
Sure.
So yeah, no, I definitely don't try to jump around the agent. Try actually quite the opposite. I usually try to involve the agent in the process.
Can you give us a couple of clients that are household names, or is it more of a confidentiality thing with you?
I would love to, unfortunately, unless I have their consent.
I figure that.
But there are some pretty, there's some lesser known guys and there's some pretty well known ones.
And then how do you make money? Client comes to you, okay? He's got a boatload of money. You do a deal. He invests his money with you. I would imagine you get a commission, you get a percentage, you get the how do you make money?
Hold on to that question. We're going to answer that.
Hold on to that answer.
Yeah, hold on to that answer. Yeah, we're going to cut to a commercial break. We'll let you answer that when we come back. All right, and if you know the answer to this, Laurent, don't answer it yet. We'll wait and see. When we come back from break, you can answer it. Here's our first trivia question. What song did baseball fans break into when Mitch Williams stepped out of the bullpen? All right. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to that question. What song did baseball fans break into when Mitch Williams stepped out of the bullpen? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back.
Great Mitch Williams. When he came in, yeah, it was over. Yep.
All right. We'll catch another segment here. I'm saving the file right now. There we go. That's that. Save this file to. And type here. Save that. All right. Let us. All right. You guys ready? Here we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101 one more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vernon Glenn. and our special guest, Laurent Massa from Group RMC. First trivia question was, what song did baseball fans break into when Mitch Williams stepped out of the bullpen?
Would you like me to answer?
Yeah, sure.
Wild Thing.
Wild Thing, that's right. By the Trogs, because he was so wild.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
I think it's kind of intimidating because you never knew if a 100-mile fastball was going to hit you anywhere on your body.
Yeah, he'd let it go. Sometimes you didn't know it was going, but it had some heat to it.
That's right, from the movie Major League.
Correct.
Okay, so anyway, Laurent Massa from Group RMC is on the phone. Vern, you want to ask him the question you posed before the break?
Yeah, how does your company make money when the client comes and does a deal with you?
That's a great question. So what sets us apart from most established real estate groups is that we don't charge any management fee, any carry, any commit, or anything like that. We're pure co-investment. So what that means is we charge an upfront markup on the share price of a deal when you come in as the investor. So that's just basically like a premium on the unit price, kind of like cost plus. Think about it that way. Same way anything is manufactured, say for 80 cents and sold for $1. Well, that the markup is what the manufacturer keeps. That's how we operate. And that markup we take in shares of the deal, not in cash.
Okay, so if there's a property, let's say that you purchase for $900,000, I'm just giving basic numbers here. Buy a building for $900,000. When you put your money in and get other clients in, it'll be based on a value of, let's say, $1 million, something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have another follow-up question, and this involves our newest sports arena in the Bay Area called Chase Center. Now, this is going to be the home of the Golden State Warriors, but already, before the season has even begun, there have been at least 10, 15 concerts in that building since it opened. I mean, it's just always being used for something. It's state of the art with the latest bells and whistles and toys, but it was built with private money. And I'm just curious, just as a regular guy, just kind of how they make that money back, and how they even, I guess, begin from the time they took that little toy metal shovel and throw it in the ground to build.
Because how many billions was that?
I believe it was 1.3 billion to build. Now they got the real estate. The owners of the Warriors got the real estate from a guy that was with the Giants. They owned that real estate, and it was kind of, I don't want to say it was given to them, but they were able to acquire that particular real estate site. But from the time they got the site, bam, they built it.
Laurent, do you have any?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have no idea. That sounds like a very unique project.
All right. So I'm peeling back the onion a little bit. So when your company comes in, these buildings already exist, and you take over that property. You don't build a brand new building, correct?
No, we don't. Real estate's a very local business, so we wouldn't be wise to go in markets that are unknown to us and try to compete against local, developers and contractors and undercut them. We would go out of business fairly quickly if we did that. What we do is we buy big institutionally maintained office parks who are owned by, like I said, big institutions like, a pension fund or a big, private equity firm or something like that. And they're usually stabilized, like I said, very well maintained yield properties, but the way they're structured is that they have funds, and those funds have lives, like 5, 7, or 10 years, and at the end of that term, they have to dispose of the asset, whether it's a good time or not. And so what we do is we come in and we're kind of liquidity providers for them, and we buy up the asset and we hold on to it indefinitely. We're not bound to a term. I guess our philosophy on that is we don't want the time of sale to dictate the price. We want the price to dictate the time of sale.
Okay, let me come at it a different way then. Let's say this building already exists, and let's just say an NBA team comes in and says, we like this building. We have blueprints. We have plans to make this our practice facility. We'd like to turn, say, like the top 2 floors, or maybe the top floor, into our team facility. So we need to come in and, knock out some walls. We need to build courts. We need to build a weight room. We need to build a dressing room. We need to put in our executive offices because we want this to be our headquarters. Is that something you would do, grant, allow, done?
I mean, it's basically it's just a tenant.
Yeah,
it's just a tenant coming in and asking
exactly.
for tenant improvement.
Yeah.
It depends on the tenant.
Well, that's it. That's a fairly normal thing. I mean, we have new tenants come in all the time, and we have to do tenant improvements and like you said, knock down walls and that kind of thing. It's a bit of a particular case for an NBA team because I mean they have a pretty serious setup. Basketball courts, like you said, weight rooms, therapy rooms, hot tub, cold tub. It's a very we're very specific in that we do office buildings. So you don't see many professional sports teams coming in and taking up some office building space. They tend to have their own facilities.
So I have a building in the Silicon Valley, and when I got it in '94, it was more R&D, research and development, and it looks nothing now like it did then.
Right.
Tenants come in, they want to do a whole bunch of different improvements. It just changes as long as it's within the scope of what's allowed. Can't turn into a retail shop.
Well, in the case of the Oakland Convention Center, which is adjacent to the Marriott in downtown Oakland, the Warriors came in and they took the very top of the Oakland Convention Center and made that their headquarters. Because they used to practice at the College of Alameda, but as they built capital and franchise got richer or whatever, they were able to take over that space at the top of the convention center and just made it a brand new state-of-the-art facility. Well, now they have the Chase Center and everything, not the Chase Center, it's Chase Center. Don't put a "the" in front.
Okay.
But now everything is contained in that building in San Francisco, but they're hanging on to that old practice facility because that is where their year-round basketball camps are going to take place. Okay. So I was just curious because I'm fascinated by the whole real estate thing, being a renter myself.
And Laurent, do you have any kind of, without obviously naming any names, any kind of fun stories for us?
Any fun stories? I know it's very, on paper, dealing with professional athletes, I guess, could be a glamorous thing. Hence the vultures who like to kind of float around them. But I don't know if I have any very, interesting stories from dealing with athletes.
That's okay. What about your friend who is now in Russia? You said that was like a whole other podcast. Can you kind of shorten it to about 2-3 minutes?
Well, there's a few of them. I know that, a lot of teams, you get about 3 or 4 teams that make a boatload of money, and the rest basically are losing money. And in Russia, it's a very, image-heavy thing. So they don't care if teams lose money. They just want to put teams out on the ice. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, a lot of guys who go over there, they don't always see their paycheck. I heard one story of a guy who he was a goalie. I think he was playing in Slovakia. I'd have to double check that. And he was getting paid in cash. And once his cash, he put his cash in the locker room before the game, and he came back after the game and the cash was gone. Well, next time around when he got paid in cash, he hid it in his goalie pads and played the game with about $30,000 in cash in his goalie pads.
Wow,
that'll help impact the puck.
That's trust. That's trust issues there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, settle this misconception of the Canadian. True or not true? You always say sorry, and you're all unbelievably nice.
I'm sorry to break it to you.
I know, it's funny. I know a few different Canadians, and they are the nicest people.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
How can you be happy in that?
You walk around, I walk around going, "Gee, man, they are really. Who is this nice? What are they on? They're unbelievably nice and polite.
We're on a good mix of maple syrup and hockey.
Even when they're angry, they're nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we were talking about this in a few episodes before. Lacrosse is like the big sport. I always think of hockey or curling in Canada, but lacrosse. Isn't that right, Laurent?
Well, yeah. In terms of what guys and girls grow up playing, Lacrosse is fairly big, but in terms of like professional sports and viewers and eyeballs, definitely nothing comes close.
Hockey's that is the national sport.
Yeah, you get a little cold up there.
Yeah. Although Toronto, the Toronto NBA franchise made a run for its money. Boy, they took over that entire country during their NBA championship run.
Oh yeah. That's right. Were you guys big basketball fans during that time?
Oh, he is now.
He is now.
Yeah, we are now. We sort of have growing up, Vince Carter was the Toronto Raptor.
Oh yeah.
Montreal kind of has a natural rivalry with Toronto. The Habs and the Leafs, it goes back decades. So it was hard for us to kind of pull for the Raptors, but you should have seen. During the playoff run, it was like downtown. They were closing down streets.
Yeah. They showed that here back in the in the States.
Yeah, locally here in the Bay Area. In the Bay Area, we had we had a guy named Steve Nash who was Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Grew up playing hockey, but played basketball. Wasn't recruited coming out of high school heavily. He ended up coming down here to play for Santa Clara University. He had never even heard of it.
Yeah.
And now he's
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. NBA basketball.
Hey guys, got to cut to a quick commercial break here. Who was the winningest active Major League Baseball manager before he retired in 1996? All right, that's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. So Laurent, I promised that you could. Do you need to go, or do you want to stay?
No, good.
Okay. All right, because there's I wanted to hear about the salary cap on the Sharks that you were.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Okay. Sure. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we always have fun here. Always nice to our guests. Now, are you in Quebec right now?
Yeah, I'm in Montreal. I'm in my home just outside of Montreal.
Okay. Because I know you said you go to New York a lot too, don't you?
Yeah, well, we have an office in New York, in World Trade Center actually, so I get down there a lot to meet with investors or what have you. But I move around the Midwest a lot to our properties or look at new properties, that kind of thing.
How come you know what's cool? A French accent.
You know what's cool is one of the cool things that's hotly sought after now are vintage Montreal Expos.
Yeah,
swag.
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
they sell a lot of swag.
Yeah.
I've got my Expos cap. They never really left to us. Actually, they're gonna be building a ballpark downtown. So we'll be bringing the Expos back.
Yeah, what's the Expo Center being used for now?
That thing's a dump. It's used for sometimes soccer games or different sports things, but it's not really that used.
Okay, hey guys, ready? Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Vern Glenn and Laurent Massa. The second trivia question: who was the winningest active Major League Baseball manager before he retired in 1996?
Blanking. I am blanking. Winningest active manager retired in 1986.
Okay, I'm going to give you a big hint. Think Dodgers.
Oh, Tommy Lasorda?
Yeah, he was the winningest active Major League Baseball
manager.
I can
believe that.
Yeah. He's been around about 200 years, so that'll do it.
I've done a couple of functions with Tommy Lasorda. He's a barrel of laughs, man.
I'll bet he is.
There's no off switch. When he gets going, there's no off switch.
That's great. So Laurent Massa from Group RMC, we're discussing real estate, but remember you were mentioning before something about the San Jose Sharks and their salary cap woes.
Yeah, because Laurent, they've had to spend a lot of money. They went out, they re-signed Erik Karlsson. They gave him a bunch of money, and they had to let Joe Pavelski go because they couldn't afford to pay him what he was worth. So he's with Dallas, and then they had to re-sign Brent Burns. So you got Burns and Karlsson, the 1-2, depending on who you use, the defensemen in the league.
Yeah. Well, you hear a lot nowadays. We're living in a salary cap world, and you hear that a lot. It's tough for teams to stay competitive long term in a salary cap world when you have such a front-loaded payroll. The Sharks, let me check my notes. They're in 2025. They're going to be paying $41 million, 5 players, between the ages of 34 and 39. Now that's Carlson, Burns, Vlasic, Couture, and King. So to give you an idea, the salary cap this year is just under $82 million. So that's half your cap on 5 players. Obviously, the cap goes up every year. But, if they don't win it in the next couple of years, which, the Sharks kind of have a reputation for not exactly making it all the way, although I will give Doug Wilson a lot of credit. He's managed to keep that team very competitive despite, turning over the roster pretty much from scratch from, 10 years ago. Well, give him credit. He does maintain a competitive team on the ice. But if they don't win in the next couple of years, they're gonna run into some trouble in a few years. However, they did just sign Kevin LeBanc.
That's right.
A 1-year, $1 million contract. I'm still scratching my head on that one. That's a very valuable contract for them. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, remember when the Sharks were the sexy pick every year, and then every year they just could not. Well, they had a hard time getting past the first, second round.
Yeah.
And but Dougie Wilson, he keeps him relevant, like you said, and he keeps him in the discussion all throughout.
Yeah, I would like to see Joe Thornton win it all, though. Yeah, that would be a good feel-good story for this year.
Yeah, 40 years plus, and he's doing it.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, with that big face pillow, huge beard. My God,
face pillow.
Yeah, him and Brent Burns. Jeez, holy smokes.
Well, Laurent, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Econ 101. Enjoyed having you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All righty.
All right, man. Take care.
Nice guy. Like you said, all Canadians are nice, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So, okay, so we talked to Laurent Massa about real estate and athletes. And now let's get back to the United States.
Sure.
Sports.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about 7 unbeaten NFL teams, huh?
As of the recording of this show.
Yeah. This is really something. Yeah. So you got 7 unbeaten teams, and the surprising San Francisco 49ers are one of them.
Yeah.
At 3-0. I'm like, wow. They're 3-0, and the Buffalo Bills and the 49ers probably the most surprising of the 3-0 teams.
Now the thing is, Pittsburgh has been kind of with Roethlisberger and the Antonio Brown situation.
Yeah.
So you can't really look at them as a good team. And the
I think they're a solid team. I mean, Pittsburgh always they really bring it, and they almost beat the 49ers with the 5 turnovers in the game. I mean, they do have some players. Minkah Fitzpatrick, and that they got from the Dolphins, because the Dolphins are doing a fire sale. Yeah. He was in there, made a couple of impact plays, and Steelers almost pulled that off. But good teams find a way to win on their worst day, and the 49ers did. And the Buffalo Bills, I don't know how they're doing it, but man, boy, credit to them.
How long is it going to last, though?
But probably not much further, because next on the schedule are the New England Patriots coming in. Yeah.
And with the Dolphins, it's like you said, they're having a fire sale. I mean,
they are.
What do you think's going on there?
Well, they tank because they want to be able to get top draft picks, maybe the number 1 overall pick, and so they
you throw a whole season away for that, though?
Well, the teams have done it before. Cleveland,
but from the beginning, though.
I mean, they're not going to come out and say it in front of the camera that, hey, we're tanking. Because it's a terrible message to send to the rest of your team, because these guys are still playing. I mean, these are professionals.
I mean, I think I could see that if you're let's say 4 games out of a playoff berth, and there's only 2 or 3 games left. I mean, I can kind of see, okay, well, let's not get hurt, and let's put our 3rd stringers in, and we'll get the first round. But this is the beginning of the season.
Well, they take a season. When I say these teams, they take a season and they split it up into 4 separate mini seasons, if you were. So right now we're in the first quarter, the first 4 groups of the season. So you want to try and go 3-1 at least, if you can, through those first games. Then you got the second group of games. And you got the third group of games. And the goal is to try and get double-digit wins. You get double-digit wins, you're in the mix for the playoffs. So, credit the Bills and credit the 49ers. They're 3 games in, but can they get 7 more wins out of the remaining 12 weeks, 13 weeks of the season?
I don't know.
That's the question. So
the Rams had kind of a challenging time with Cleveland.
yeah, but still, I think the Rams. I think the Rams are the best of the unbeaten. The Rams and the Chiefs,
Yeah.
I think, are the most solid of the unbeaten teams. The Patriots, I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's a gift that they're playing in the AFC East. I mean, I mean, they no wonder they go out and get a 10, 11, 12 win season because they just feast on their own division.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, man, I mean, they're
I like the way you say that.
they're not challenged. I mean, these bottom feeders. I hate to say it. I mean, the Jets. I mean, come on. Yeah. So, but they'll say, hey, we gotta play who's in front of us, and we're in that division until that happens. Where we're in a different division, that we have to play it out. The Cowboys unbeaten at 3-0. The Packers are doing what they need to do. But it'll be interesting to see as these weeks unfold, just who survives.
Yeah. Well, also, it depends on who gets hurt.
True. Injuries will play a huge part in this one. And of all the teams I mentioned, they all have a quality quarterback. If the quarterback goes down, then
did you see the video? I think it was University of Kentucky player tackles the quarterback, and then you can see him. You have to get a better view of it, but he's taking his ankle and he's trying to twist it.
Oh,
and
trying to maim.
Yeah,
trying to inflict pain.
I mean, guys, you ruin a guy's career before he even has a
Yeah.
little chance
Well, I
to
mean,
start.
that's. I hate to say that word, but these aren't a whole bunch of Boy Scouts playing the game, and then a whole lot of stuff happens in that pileup.
Well, I understand, the biting and the poking of fingers and stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, to twist a guy's ankle though is like that's college.
But it happens. College pros, it happens.
Well, I still remember Charles Martin taking down McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
He had a little towel with his number on it because he had a bounty on him, and I mean, it was like I think he put McMahon out for weeks with that shoulder injury.
Yeah.
It's like, the thing is, you can't sue him in civil court. I mean, I guess in theory you could, but because that ain't part of the game. No.
By the way, here comes the Antonio Brown mention on this show.
Of course.
Antonio Brown apparently has gone back to school.
Yeah, I read that.
He's enrolled. He's gone back to his old school, Central Michigan. Yeah. He's registered for 4 classes, and he also announced on Instagram that he will not play professional football again.
Now he has a bachelor's degree now, and he's going for a master's.
I don't think I think he played 3 years. Essentially. He did not graduate, so he left early. And then jumped in the draft and got picked up by the Steelers, a 6th-round pick, though. So, he's gone back to school, and I guess, with designs on getting his degree until the next crazy chapter in his life becomes public. Because that dude, it's just hard to figure.
As you said about peeling back the onion, keeps finding all these little skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
Any idea what classes he's taking or what his degree is?
Dude, I did see an article of the classes he was taking. One of them was criminal justice, but I don't have it in front of me.
Well,
but,
he may need that for himself, unfortunately.
Yeah, because he is accused of some very serious crimes.
And then also this texting fairly recently of intimidation. People
can't intimidate the witness.
No,
can't do that.
No, it's funny. I think
I can't believe his agent let him do that.
Let him, or just told him don't do anything.
Maybe Rosenhaus said, "Hey, you can't. You shouldn't do it," and then Brown does it anyway. That's probably
it. I can't imagine an agent saying, "Sure, go ahead."
Because Rosenhaus is a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah.
So.
And how many millions has Antonio Brown made in his career?
I don't know that he's collected a dime yet. I mean,
not for this year, but I mean, obviously for years past.
I have no idea what's in his bank account. No idea.
I mean, unless he did some foolish spending.
I know. Briefly, when he was a Raider, they rented some property in the East Bay that was fairly expensive, But
you can't take that with you.
no, you
You
can't.
can just enjoy the memories.
Yeah.
And then they said no on the signing bonus, and now he's after Robert Kraft to get him
Taking shots, just burn. Well, yeah, you just can't burn bridges like that, man.
No,
you can't.
no.
You can't.
And the thing is, it's like, for him getting upset about, all these big football teams, why are they trying to take back that money? Well, because you didn't play, it's just a contractual thing. And guess what? If they don't pay you that $6 or $8 million bonus, they can use that to pay someone else.
Now, you listeners out there, you listen to me good. All right. Just here's the advice from Uncle Vern.
Okay.
If you are a disgruntled employee, keep your mouth shut.
Yes.
And find another job privately, and then move on. When you get the other job, you thank your employer for the opportunity, and you move on.
Very smart.
As hard as it may be to do,
Exactly.
as much as you want to yell, get on top of your desk
Or
and
gossip to
scream,
other people.
or gossip to other people, you cannot do that.
And that is Uncle Vern's.
That is my best advice to you.
I think that's very, very smart.
Yeah.
Very, very smart. All right. Here's our last trivia question.
Okay.
Who was the only pitcher to lead the National League in strikeouts 3 times during the 1980s? Okay. That's our trivia question. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question. Who was the only pitcher to lead the National League in strikeouts 3 times during the 1980s? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments.
All right.
Give me a fun one there. Let's see here. Family well?
Yeah, everybody's there. Yeah, everybody's same old, A-okay.
Yeah, Sarah says she's going to a Nationals game.
Oh,
Friday.
Exciting.
Yeah. She's not really into baseball that much, but I think it's just the idea, just something kind of fun to do.
Cool.
Yeah. She's enjoying Washington D.C. I mean,
it's for young person. It's a great place to have. Yeah.
We really enjoyed our time. Moving around. I mean, moving around was like that, but then just kind of enjoying the city and checking out stuff and the museums, Smithsonian's and stuff.
Hopefully, I mean, I know they're struggling, but hopefully she can make it to a Redskins game. Hopefully she can make it to a Wizards game, a Capitals game.
Yeah. The Redskins play in Maryland.
Landover. Yeah, but it's just, I mean, it's
just right there.
Everything's in and around the Beltway. You just,
And because Washington Nationals would be there. And the Wizards are also probably really...
the Wizards, I believe, are downtown Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. They used to play at RFK Stadium, the Redskins?
Yeah.
That
place is rocking.
Is it?
I think
RFK
Stadium. I think that's. Is that or did that get cleared up?
They tear that one down, or?
That's where I saw my first Major League game, RFK Stadium, the Washington Senators.
Wow.
Yeah.
Frank Howard.
Ted Williams was the manager.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Frank Howard was playing, wasn't he?
This was 1969, so that
it was been. Yeah. I remember. I like.
The stadium was so empty because we were in deep center field. You would hear the ball pounding the mitt of the catcher. It was that cavernous and that empty.
Wow. Yeah, they didn't have a very good team for years.
Yeah, nobody was going.
Sort of like, was it? Who was drawing very little? Was it just Tampa Bay, or was it the Marlins too? It was the Marlins. It was like there's like 3,000 people there or something.
Oh, you mean now in baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Marlins are.
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, going from World Series champions to just like nothing. All right. Ready to close?
Recent, September 5th, 2019, the district announced plans to demolish the stadium due to maintenance costs.
That's a whole stadium, isn't it? I mean, well, before RFK, it was probably called something else.
Yeah, just I think District of Columbia Stadium or something like that.
Yeah, how old is it?
It opened in 1961.
Oh, yeah. A long time ago.
Yeah, 1961 to 1969, it was District of Columbia Stadium, and then they renamed it RFK after the assassination.
Yeah. Sirhan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn. Bruce will hopefully join us in the next couple of weeks.
It'd be nice to see him off the IR.
That's right, yeah.
And back in the fold, yeah.
I call it taking a sabbatical.
Yeah.
Okay, who was the only pitcher to lead the National League in strikeouts 3 times during the 1980s?
My guess is Nolan Ryan.
No. No. I'm trying to remember, was he in the National or American League then? Yeah, kind of both, because of the changing Angels and
around.
Astros.
Yeah.
Steve Carlton.
Okay.
Phillies.
All right.
Okay.
Never like to talk to the media. He's one of those guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just because they assume that anything you say is going to come back to haunt you?
I don't know why. He just, I don't know why, but he was one of those guys who was like, no thank you.
No. So not being shy per se. Just, yeah, and there's
Steve Carlton didn't. Let's see, Eddie Murray didn't. Yeah. A lot of guys, they just. Yeah, aren't there some rules? I don't know if it's baseball, but in football that they you have to give so much time to the media. It used to be like that.
Yeah.
But after
negotiations
with the Players Association, now the league mandates that the locker room has to be open for an hour. Now, whether or not the player is lingering in there, that's up to the player.
All right, and with that, we're going to cut to our thoughts for the day. The reason that a seesaw has 2 seats is because that way there is always someone to bring you up when you go down.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, very wise.
Okay, and a word of encouragement during failure is worth more than an hour of praise after success. I like that one too. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long. All righty. I've got, shoot, man, I got 9 more minutes on this thing before I got to cut it out.
Yeah, all right.
Let's see here.
All right, so next week.
Okay, yes, good point.
Next Monday, Monday's a travel day for me. I'll be in Indianapolis. I got Raiders Colts. So I fly back Monday, so I can do Tuesday.
Okay, and that works for me. And then we're off the next week because I'm out of town. So Monday is off for the 30th, and we'll have you on. We'll record on Tuesday. So that'll be the 1st. So let me put here recording Tuesday at 10 a.m. Okay, I got that, and that'll be sports. Okay, that. All right, so now let's do this, and this. The Raiders got kind of demolished, didn't they?
Man, it was so bad for them, I had to turn it off. I was listening to it on the way to Levi Stadium because Channel 5 had the Niner game yesterday. Yeah. And
you like Levi Stadium?
I don't love it. It's okay. It's just to me, it's a large, giant symbol of cold, heartless corporate America.
Really? What I mean, what brings you to that conclusion?
Well, it's just no. I mean, there's it's not cozy. It's just they just have a bunch of seats, and then if you pay enough, then they have cozier seats. They have and they have certain areas where you can and can't go based on your clearance level. Whether if you're a one percenter, then you can maybe be in the Google Cloud Club. If you're if you pay to be in that section, it's just
isn't Chase going to be like that too?
Chase. When you go there, it'll be very intimate because you're very close to the court. You're you're like right on top of it. I mean, so you kind of
doesn't feel the same.
When the 49ers make a play, I just don't see total strangers high-fiving each other on a great play. When the Warriors make a dramatic play or something like that, it's total strangers hugging each other. Just, oh man, it's good. Yeah, you feel like you're together. But we're talking about 19,000 people versus 68,000 people. So
well, Niners are doing well now, so they are drawing that crowd, I gotta think.
Yeah, and it's a front runner events area that we live in. Yeah. So when the Niners are going, then it's the place to go to see and be seen. More so than say a true sports market where it just doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do but go to like Oklahoma, right? That's why they.
No, I mean I'm talking about Chicago or New York or Boston. I mean traditional sports markets where it doesn't matter what the team is doing. You're going to go to the game. You're going to follow the game. You're going to talk up the game. You're going to chop it up. Gotcha. Instead of the Bay Area where if you got a bunch of losing teams, it's I'm going to go skiing today, or my biggest worry is, well, what am I going to have for lunch? It's not. So
I like that. Oh no, our first world problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a namaste area.
Namaste. Haven't heard that term in a while.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
All right, my man. I'm Daddy's gonna take a big nap. I had a long day yesterday. I had to work. I worked the morning and all afternoon into the evening. Golf charity thing. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, sir.
Mountain Mites. This. I can't speak of any other Mountain Mites because this is the only one I've been to. But this place is great.
Yeah.
I talked to the owner for a long time. Man, they got a good thing going over here. I don't know if you guys ever go over there, but
it's funny. I've only had the pizza a couple of times, but it's good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, fabulous.
Yeah. All right, sir. So next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Boom.
Boom.
All righty.
Thank you. A couple more minutes, and we have to cut out. Come on. Well, we love Vern. He's a good guy, humble in spirit. And he will be back on Tuesday for another recording of Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. Ain't that right? That's right. We got about 2 minutes to go, and then we're going to cut out on there. And we can do this and this. Let's take a look. Sure. Yes, that. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next week.